The FNRad Snowboard Podcast is presented by Vans. Season 8 of FNRad is sponsored by Wired Snowboards, Anon Optics, the Boardroom Snowboard Shop, findanepicagent.com, and Tribute Board Shop in Nelson, BC.
This real estate secret could save you thousands. Never contact a realtor yourself. Instead, have Find an Epic Agent refer you to proven local realtors. Why? We pay you from the commission the realtor pays Find an Epic Agent for your introduction. You get the best real estate agent working for you, and we put your money back in your pocket. In over 30 countries, Find an Epic Agent makes it cheaper to buy or sell a home. That's why it pays to click findanepicagent.com before contacting a realtor.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and join the dozens of YouTube people already watching these episodes on their phones and TVs. Support also comes from Dakine, Mount Seymour, Grouse Mountain, Pro Standard GoPro accessories, and Volcom Outerwear. Special thanks this episode to Beneath, This Place is Awesome, YT Bikes, and Tomahawk Indigenous products. Don Szabo is one of the original Lamar pros who rode for Nectar Snowboards before that. He was a regular in the early mags and movies. He even played 00 Szabo in the Creatures of Habits movie, a recurring character featuring snowboarding and explosions. He was one of the first pros in magazines doing backflips, so I asked him how he learned backflips.
I learned them pretty much at a punk rock pit, just off the stage into... people, you know, like when I was a little punk rocker, probably around that age too, 12 years old. And,
oh, wow.
And I was way lighter than a lot of other people, and once again, I'm still a flannel wearing kid, it's same as ever.
Totally.
So I was just a, tennis shoe, flannel wearing kid. I'd jump off stage, do flips in the crowd, and they'd even push me back up towards the stage.
Incredible.
Yeah. And I remember then there was the full chain wearing, leather and spike and that guy. And I remember just one time this guy went to go flip and then everybody just spread out and he just splats on the ground.
Oh, fuck.
But no, like I said, I was just light and people had fun and I was having fun. And
what kind of shows are you going to? Is this Southern California punk shows?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So, yeah, I mean, whatever. Circle Jerks, TSOL, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag.
Agent Orange, like all the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, dude.
It was awesome.
That would have been so sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff for sure.
Okay, so we know you transitioned from skateboarding to snowboarding through this hookup. Is that right? So you get hooked up with Life's a Beach and those guys, which are badass people, right? Like those guys are, by all accounts, awesome.
Do we need to go over the story into it? Or?
No, we don't at all. We could just talk. We could just talk fucking anything. It was good that you learned flips in a mosh pit. Seems impossible.
Oh, and then I don't know if you want to go on with the flip thing.
Let's do it. Yeah, please.
As for into snowboarding, and back when ISM was the only magazine.
Yep.
And there's 12 riders in Southern California that all know each other, like Marco Hendrickson, which now his son Dusty, killing it,
sick
quad corks and crazy stuff, and he raised him. Oh yeah, I mean I've known for 6+ years that he's going to be the next. I mean, call it next Shaun White is something that everybody can relate to. You know what I mean? But he would enter contests, and the judges would judge same to pros versus. When he was under 16 years old, he can't be pro division. So, he's, let's say the pros won with a 94, with their abilities, and judges on the same format, he's winning his amateur division with 96.
Oh, wow.
So he was I already knew he was going to just be killing it.
And you were friends with his dad when you guys were like kids.
Oh, yeah. So, back to Mountain High, he was one of the 10 or 12 people that rode snowboards, and he actually sold sim snowboards. So he's always been more industry. I mean, he can ride, he can still get around and ride and whatnot, but he was always more on the sales side in a way, and then he worked for Nitro and worked for multiple companies, like industry guy, but always shredded and always had a big old smile and awesome guy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, it was cool. But, once again, you knew the people that rode snowboards and...
And so you can do flips like as soon as you kind of get into it? Is that sort of the deal?
Well, no, so I was able to, so I took my, skateboarding stuff, which, like I say, I was going to be a pro skater when my dad told me, you're going to need to get a real job now around 17 years old, skating sponsored since I was 12, but, free skateboards and wheels and trucks. And I'm happy enough under the parents' roof. And like I say, hanging out with guys that are 18 plus years old and taking me, like I say, San Diego to Santa Barbara and all kinds of different skate areas. Yeah. But, just going to key points, 17-ish, my dad says, you're going to have to end up getting a real job. And I said, no, I'm just going to end up being a pro skater. So I ended up skating in this Life's a Beach, 1987 Life's a Beach Hell Week contest. And, out of the blue, I won the amateur division. They said, hey, go jump up and ride the pro division. So I said, sure. And then I went and rode the pro division. And like I say, I'm terrible to remember details, but I do remember I beat Danny Way and some other heavies, and I was podium. Amazing. Pro division, so obviously Life's a Beach snatched me up, and JT and Airwalk. And then I was going the skate pro route kind of, and doing demos and doing a little bit of contest stuff, and then hooked up with Sonny Miller, who was doing the photos.
Love Sonny.
And then
rest in peace, Sonny.
And Jamie Mossberg was my team manager for Life's a Beach.
Of course. Yeah. Skaters from Uranus.
Yeah, for sure. And but anyway, and Sonny, we ended up, I ride snowboards too. Yeah, we should go up and do that too. So I went up and did that with him, and he was blown away. He goes, dude, people do not ride snowboards like this, because I was full, skate style. I'm doing just big old boned out stuff and whatever, just big threes.
It's easy for a good skater.
Yeah, it's just a skate style thing. And it was like, so between him and then went back to Mouse and said, hey, we've got to get this guy in the snow program. So we ended up working out saying, hey, we got enough pro skaters, but we'll just pay you to be a pro snowboarder from this point. So like I say, Instant Life's a Beach, JT, Airwalk. And then Nectar was just a throw-in because Sonny Miller was good friends with Gary McNabb that owned Nectar surfboards/snowboards.
Yeah, it was surfboards before it was snowboards. Right.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
Yeah, so that was just
They had badass graphics, man. Like if you look at that, I'm going to put it up in the show. Like if you look at the boards leaning against the garage, your board stands out. It's got like a crazy graphic on it, right?
Yeah,
like,
my head was the spider legs.
Right, man. With the spider legs,
That's,
right?
Yep.
Holy shit. And you do a few, that was the thing. Like, I don't know about your exposure in the magazines. I just remember the Nectar thing, and then it went right kind of straight into the like heyday of Lamar. Like the Lamar thing, that team at that time, we talk about forums coming back now. Like it was such a punch in the gut to the industry that was like kind of going along with the Burton and the Sims thing. As a kid who cared about snowboarding, I went to Mount Hood, I believe it's 91. I went. Gilligan Yoder's there, Brian Harper's there. They've got the Lamar boards with just the black with it just says Lamar.
Yeah.
And it was we knew who Bert was from Look. The Look Lamar board was obviously Bert's pro model, but Lamar was something different. The boards were twin. The riders were fucking badass. So that was Szabo, that's you. We had Johnson, who was just up here. Yeah. Rankwit was on those first pro model boards. Who else had one of those epic boards? That might have been it. Was there?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Jimmy Scott, but he was a park guy.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy with the Beetle. I love the Jimmy Scott Beetle. Yeah, that was definitely, that's peak Jimmy Scott right there. Yeah, Jimmy Scott Beetle winning the world championships in half pipe. Yeah. What a team.
He was really focused on that. But the funny part is, I mean, I got Bert Lamar in the snowboarding because, we used to skate all the time.
Rad.
We had the same home park.
Rad.
Skate across back in the valley, and then, we'd bounce over the hill to gosh, I'm losing it. Kidding me. Del Mar was all the way down in San Diego, but then Marina Del Rey was over the hill. And that's where Christian Osoy.
Wow.
Oh, man, I got stories. We could just bounce all over the place.
Please. Let's just go for it. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
But but I remember watching Christian Osoy because I was, a couple of years older than him. So like when you're 14, and then this little 12-year-old guy is ripping the brown bowls, which are the smaller little clay bowls.
Yeah.
But not really riding the back keyhole or the dog bowl so much. Like just when I cross paths, because we'd just come over the hill from the valley, skate, thought we were owning it, and this little guy is pretty rad in these little brown bowls, Wow. And then one day I showed up, evening actually, and there was a full photo shoot in the back keyhole.
Yeah.
And now instead of these little 6-foot clay bowls, he's doing the same stuff because he was owning those clay bowls. But I was just thinking, he's a rad little kid,
Totally.
And now he's doing everything in the back keyhole and full photo shoot and all kinds of photographers and videographers. And I just go, whoa. It's like, it was almost like oh my gosh, this kid just over my game,
Oh, of course. But, yeah. We were just talking about that with Ken, with Terrier. Like when he shows up, he's a kid and he's that good at 14. Well, we're all either fucked or... Was your career ever based on competition results, or was it more of a, like go with the flow thing, like you were talking?
Well, I mean, I like to go with the flow, but you kind of had to go through the cookie cutter way. So within the 12 years that I did it kind of for living, first half of that, you kind of had to do the jumping through hoops and do the half pipe contests and do even mogul contests early days. That was funny. And whatever,
But you had your guys. So you've got guys that believe in you, and like you say, you're friends with Lamar, you got him into snowboarding. You're getting one of these 4 pro models on this new epic thing. Yeah. How long did you stay with Lamar?
I was with them for 4+ years. I've had 4 models with Lamar.
Did Bert
took me from Nectar.
You know what I mean? So he stole you from Nectar. Right.
I taught him how to snowboard. We went to the World's 87 contest, and that's when he did real well. Like
he won. He won.
Yeah. Which I was kind of bummed in a way.
He ripped his shirts or whatever he was wearing, like pajamas, and all those hand plant shots of him. Oh yeah, that's peak Bert.
Classic.
Yeah, that's peak Bert.
Yep.
Love that. So you were on there 4 years. Did he sell it while you were on there or after you left?
No, it was after. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had my models with them, and then when I ended up, having to have multiple shoulder surgeries because I lived with Seth Enslow, like motocross became a passion of mine. Skate, surf, snow, moto, mountain bike. Those are the 5 sport groups. That's all you need.
Wow.
Action sports and Anyway, but like I say, I was living with Seth Enslow, and back then you didn't have managers and, people telling you what to do, and I just did what I wanted to do, so I ended up blowing my shoulder apart.
Ah, fuck.
And, that ended my snowboard gig because I actually blew it apart riding moto.
Yep.
And after actually doing it snowboarding, because I had dislocated,
like a drag, like snowboarding.
It was kind of, you see, I'm kind of built a little thin, so my rubber bands aren't probably as good as other people's, but made it work.
Dude.
But I blew it apart, and then I had already done this shoulder years before that. So when they told me, you got to wait for 4 months, and I'm on the couch, like I say, living with Seth Enslow, and he comes back at the 2-month mark, and I'm already able to lift weights smoothly, and I go, I can go ride or whatever. Anyway, he comes home and says, hey, we're going to go ride G-Spot. I said, come on, Z, which is a rad moto spot that we had the keys to. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah, my buddy made a track in this private area. Anyway, really neat spot. So I said, all right, let's go. Next you know, we're dicing around, jumping doubles and triples, and all I did was over jump a triple, like racing one of my friends, so I just went too far, landed in the flats, and then I just heard all the work they did. They take all the ligaments and tendons and they bolt it in. Well, the reason you need to wait for 4 months and not 2 is because when I landed hard, it just ripped all that work apart.
Oh, no.
So, that was no bueno. And then I got it fixed again, so that already took me out for a season before. So now I got it fixed again in the summer. And then, in fact, it was coming up here. It was to Canada the next year. I just was dicing through some bumps. I forget what the actual reason exactly was to be here. But anyway, I remember I had to go to Canada, and I was just dicing through some bumps. And my shoulder fell out again because I blew it apart backward, just holding on the handlebars.
Yeah.
So it wasn't all the front stuff. Yeah, they tightened that, but I had loose stuff going on the back. So
Jesus, dude.
That took me out for another season.
Unfreaking believable.
Yeah,
so is that moto or is that mountain biking? That's mountain biking up here.
No, that was moto back then. No, I've only been mountain biking, 7 years now. But
oh, wow. That was all moto. So you came up to Canada for moto even.
No. I came up to Canada for snowboarding.
Okay,
Snowboarding was still my job.
But
moto became another passion of mine.
Got you. Yeah.
It's kind of a consequential passion because kind of my one-liner joke that kind of describes 30-something years is, I got paid to travel the world and ride my snowboard for a dozen years, and then I broke myself for free for another 16 to 20 years, because I'm just passionate about what I love doing, like if I didn't get paid at all to ride snowboards, I would have made it work and I would have just kept doing it, and just like right now, I don't get paid a damn dime to go mountain biking and get silly crazy at my 55-year-old, but I was here 2 months ago and, I jumped 65-foot crabapple jumps.
Fuck
so
yeah.
That was my little riddle, 55 years old, jumping 65 feet. But,
unreal, dude.
Yeah, but I've jumped 180 feet on my dirt bike. So
Jesus.
It's all kind of mental in your head, and I've still got that eye, that crazy eye. That's funny. We were doing these jokes with Johnson and with Pascal talking. Yeah, and I got to work on my crazy eye. All right, I'm ready. Let's do this. I got this.
So were you friends with Pascal and Martin Gallon back in the day?
Yeah. We crossed paths, and especially Martin. I remember one time in Utah. That was a proud moment in sports. We were all heliboarding at Wasatch Powder Guides.
Wow.
And there was this one feature when we were down towards the lower LZ, wrap up the day. And so it was all these glacier, I've got a full page shot from it, and it's in Creatures of Habit 6.
Sick.
But these guys tried to half step it and just step down, because it's a step down to all the way to the base area.
Yeah.
And they'd zoot out on this icy stuff and then land on their back. So I'm all right, get out of the way, boys. And I just clicked the whole thing. So it's a good, 50-foot
sick
drop total. And like I say, stuck it per se. And like I say, it's on video in the Creatures 6. And
so dope.
Full page shot.
Dude, yeah.
SoCal moment.
Well, you're from an era and from the spot where big cliff drops was the order of the day. You got Parada and Farmer out there battling it out. You got Damien and Dana and Steve Graham and yourself and Andy Hetzel and Rocket Reeves. And fuck, dude. Still to this day, I mean, the guys are now doing flips and spins off these things, but the straight air big cliff era of those days, I don't think it's ever been matched. I don't think so. Yeah, it's sick. Yeah. I'm gonna put that up in the show. The hopefully you find that 2-page spread of the shot from Wasatch Powder Mountain. Of course, it's out there.
That's a finder for sure.
What's it like hanging out with Johnson nowadays? I mean, obviously you probably would have been partying pretty hard in the back in the Lamar days.
Oh yeah. Well, I got some classic stories. Me and him in Japan, like I say, when he was basically prepping for his whiskey stuff. You know what I mean? So we were just raging.
Yes.
And absinthe, I think, is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a hallucinogenic.
Yeah. It's a really strong liquor. Yeah.
Which, like I say, I'm not a big drinker, but when I did, every once in a while, Evil Z would come out, and it would be a whole different guy. Yeah, it was classic. But I remember we were in Tokyo, and we just went into a liquor store, and each grabbed 6-pack in each hand, him and I, and then we all just walked out. Just didn't even pay the cashier, and they're just so, I don't know, they're just so
polite.
Yeah, they're polite.
Yeah,
and just, I don't know, nothing ever happened. We were just laughing, and then I remember running through the town, and we were also doing our Starsky and Hutch across people's hoods. So like, there's just total traffic in Tokyo, and we're just going, sliding, running, jumping, sliding across on our ass, and on the other side.
Oh my God.
Just laughing our asses off. And
whenever I talk to people about Japan trips from back then, what did you eat? Were you open-minded enough that you ate some stuff there? Because a lot of people would go there. Jamie Lynn's like, I found cereal, like milk or whatever it was, because it's weird food.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it is now. You're not eating sushi on a regular basis, and then go into Japan and finding, because nothing's in English and there's no fast food stuff. You're fucked.
Yeah. Well, okay, and like I said, it was an easy one for me because back when I rode for Nectar, I was the only rider, so I actually went over there and lived Japanese with my distributor at the time.
Whoa!
No, that was really
Dope.
It was really neat. I mean, whole different experience than Lamar and hotel and multiple team members and no, I mean, I literally lived as the Japanese did. And when my distributor Son, which I'm still friends on through social, and I can't wait to see the guy because we still chat every once in a while.
Sick.
But he would take me to different shops, to sign autographs, or we'd do demos, and then whoever we were doing these things for the shops that would end up selling a lot of my models because of, like I say, either the demonstrations or autograph signings, we would go eat with the owner of the shop, and they would order kind of whatever for me, and so I would just run with it. And so I would eat with them, and then even make little makeshift wall that they would just put up, and I'd sleep at the people's house,
so
that owned
sick.
the shop. So I was living Japanese, and I've stayed there for 2 months at a time sometimes. So I love that place.
That's
and we'd
dope.
make our way from Tokyo, continuing north, and because I don't remember all the names, so obviously you remember the name Sapporo and all these other little towns.
Yeah.
The North Island of Hokkaido is the mecca of good.
That's a good snow and super steep.
Yeah,
I gotta go to Hokkaido for sure.
Yeah.
So you actually, that's the opposite for a lot of people. Going over there, spoiled Americans, spoiled Canadians that are used to hamburgers and hot dogs, that shit doesn't exist over there. You don't get a street dog. It's not happening.
Yeah.
So, that's cool that you had a guide. I think that's really important just when you're traveling. If you meet up with a local or you're going to meet a local, you have a completely different experience than if you go with a bunch of your buddies and you're just kind of looking around for...
Right.
Where do we eat? Oh, I guess we'll eat at the Taco Bell or whatever.
Yeah. So then switching to the whole Lamar thing, that was it. It was hotel rooms and with the team, and Frank would go, come on, let's go eat. And this stuff sucks. And
KFC or something, like whatever one thing that you could find.
Yeah. And then the one funny story I remember getting to Japan with the Lamar team, and it was John Cardiel.
Oh yeah.
That actually, he stepped off the curb. We were, just getting there, and he stepped off the curb looking, the regular way that you would here in the States.
Oh shit.
But everything's backwards.
Yeah.
And so he got hit from the back end from a car, and he flipped over the car. I mean, and he was so, rubber and nimble.
Yeah.
Shoes flew off.
Oh,
kind of landed on his feet, but then, laying down, but still got up laughing about it. And, because he was laughing, we were all laughing. Just going,
that's a game ender for any person that's never skated or surfed or snowboarded or.
But I've got my tuck and roll, mountain biking now. Yeah. I've got my standard tuck and roll that I know if I'm going over the bars, I know how to,
I think Cardiel talked about how traveling with snowboarding was just not his gig. It wasn't as fun as traveling with skating. Because everywhere you go skating, you can skate right there. You can skate at the hotel parking lot. You can skate down the sidewalk to wherever you're skating with your skaters.
Yeah.
You go on a trip to Japan with a bunch of snowboarders, there's a lot of waiting around, and there's not a lot of skateboarding going on. It's like, okay, we'll eat this food, and then we'll sleep, and then we'll take the train up to or take a bus or get a ride up to the mountain. And now
it's a different deal. So the different world. He was a badass in that world too.
So badass, right? Yeah, I forgot Cardiel was on that Lamar team too.
Yeah.
What a badass team.
Yeah, that was cool.
And just like you say, signing autographs, selling pro models. Did you make a good amount of money during that time? Was it a lucrative? Like, could you go back to your dad and go, "Hey, look, I made $100,000 last year.
Yeah. You know, so, yeah, and they were real supportive. Like I say, I think I got my kind of go with the flow attitude just from my parents. They were never pushy, saying, you know, oh, you need to do this and you need to go get a college degree. And, you know, even though I did go to college and I got a junior college degree in business, and then I ended up in business later after the whole snow gig.
Rad.
For over 16 years doing the print company thing.
Yeah.
But back to the backflip though, because I want to give Damian Sanders props, because once again, that looping back, so ISM was the only mag out way back then.
Totally.
And like he was already a hero, you know, rock star, brandy, you know, playmate model, chick, and so I never even met him in person. But once again, back then, you know, if you snowboard, you could reach out and, you know, hey, you know, you snowboard, I snowboard, let's do it. So I go up to Tahoe to meet up with Damian.
Damn.
And we rode, and he had this hip, kind of a hip jump, but he said, you know, hey, this is a great one to try a backflip, because I'd never done a backflip on a snowboard before.
Sick.
So when I hooked up with him, you know, we did all kinds of just raging and having fun, but he said, yeah, this is a good one to do it. So I went and I hit this jump, and I just tucked it more like a, you know, backflip, like I say, off the stage of punk or whatever, even, you know, backflips in the pool or something. But anyways, more just like a sideways. And I ended up landing, and I landed fakie. So I actually, my first backflip, and I rode out of it fakie. I did a backflip to fakie with Damian, first time.
See, that's it.
Awesome.
It's almost always the half commit onto the head. I've seen it so many times. The half commit, and then you get scared. I did that the first time. I've watched tons of people do it the first time, to just head knock yourself out. You're riding with Damian. You know how to do it. You flip to fakie the first time. That's so sick.
Yeah, the Donner Summit.
Yeah. Well, it's probably one of the
one of the only places that even allowed it back then too.
And also one of the places that when they were doing all those backflips in Snowboarders in Exile, there was that jump at Donner that, you know, I could see it in my head right now.
Yeah,
that's so sick. It's probably one of those, you know, he's like, yeah, dude, I'll do it. You should try it. Yep. So once you've got the backflip, Sonny Miller takes a few photos of you on Nectar. Like the upside down with the mouth open one is classic. They used it for all sorts of. I think Nectar used it. I think Life's a Beach used it.
Not the same one, but once I had the backflip in my pocket, it was like that was my little.
That was the era of that.
That was a trick.
Yeah, because there was time. There were ads in those same magazines where the guy's just got his arms out. He's 2 feet above the snow. There's snow flying everywhere. Like and then there's you upside down 20 feet in the air. It was dope, man. Yeah, that's amazing.
A really controlled trick too. I mean, it was easy. You know, once you get upside down, you're eyeballing the landing, you can just bring it in.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that was the first thing I did here when I hit the windlip. You know, it was a big old backflip.
So sick.
It's a controlled
safety. That was your safety. That's what we would call it if we, you know, okay, we're gonna hit a big jump. What are we gonna do?
Out, you know, just, you know. Wasn't all about poking them upside down or anything. I just wanted to just
like an iguana, right? Yeah,
looking down, and then where I'm gonna stick it and bring it around, and bam.
That's so sick, dude.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I knew that'd be a good story. That's fun, man. Like, it's hard to do these things over the phone because as we're interrupting each other, you get knocked off track and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so much better to look in your eyes and see how stoked you are when you're thinking about, you know, how your life turned out with skateboarding, snowboarding, and the whole thing. Yeah. Like, fuck, dude, what a time to be in it, right?
Yep. And then I did my first backflip a few months ago on a mountain bike into a foam pit. You know, just.
Where'd you go? Did you go to a Woodward's or something?
Yeah. I was in Utah, and I just happened to.
The Park City Woodward's. That place is a dope spot to learn how to do backflips into a foam pit, eh?
Yeah, totally.
You see those guys with the roller skis, roller boards. Like, I'm like, dude, if you can't learn a backflip on a snowboard at Woodward's, then just quit. It's it's the easiest way to do it.
Oh yeah, they got so much stuff to just step up the game. First to foam, and then to the blow up, and then to resi, and then to.
Isn't that insane?
We just had to huck it. You know what I mean? Of course, that was another thing where I dislocated one of my shoulders because I could flip all day long, I could spin all day long, but I never did gymnastics. So putting that air awareness, you know, in the core
It's hard to
together.
do.
It's a little bit.
I stopped at 90 rolls. Like when everything went like rodeo flips, like I couldn't wrap my head around it. Things started to get big then too. Like there was some consequence to learning on the snow.
Yeah.
Like you say, into a foam pit. Yes, please.
Right.
Yeah, that would be. I still have that in my head that I'm going to go to Woodward's, Park City, or Copper or something, and learn that 90 roll, because it looks like a fun trick and it looks like something I have all the components to do.
Yeah.
I'm just too old to like put that down on snow first.
Right.
Foam seems like the way.
Oh yeah.
How many times it take you into the foam?
This time they did intentionally tell me just do it to
Yeah.
back. You know what I mean? Which I never did for snow. But,
right.
But anyway, for this,
they're like, this is
first I did
just
that
do
on the bike to back, and then I said,
yeah.
okay. And so the next time I actually over rotated
to back again. Yeah, like
not far,
like
but
over and over.
If I would have landed to dirt, I would have over rotated because I landed, more than 90 degrees. So then the next time I actually figured it out to even like suck your bike up, and you can do a little bit of rotation control, but you really need to figure it out on the pull. You got to pull and tuck and get your rotation right. It's not like your whole body where, like I said, you can lay it out and then bring it in when you want to get your feet under, like that.
Right.
So it's a different deal, but I can see it. I mean, I only had that little 2-hour window to go try it, but
to huck a few of them.
Yeah.
But you got it around on try 2. Like, and I'm not trying to
try
like
3. I actually even under rotated a little bit, which would have been perfect.
Would have put you on the dirt. So that confidence of having thrown it into the foam, like that's the whole point of that whole place. I'm looking at it going, oh, they've got to really, like, how do you beat this? You can't beat this.
Oh, yeah.
Whistler can't beat this with just a bag. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You need the foam. You need the resi. It's too good of a way to progress.
Created so much progression in all of these sports too. I mean, insane. I mean, I still give them crazy props because what they have accomplished is nuts. And I mean, same with motorcycles. I can't even understand the gyrations and
didn't I just see a double? Someone just did a double on a motorcycle?
Not just a straight double, but they've got crazy like Corky type
unreal
things. Yeah, it just doesn't even make sense. I go, how the heck did they get their motorcycle to do that and go around? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
250-pound thing under you,
right?
And you got to just figure all that out. But once again, foam and going step by step versus straight to dirt.
Right. When we were kids, you had to try. You're trying it, right? Like you try it, and you're probably going to get hurt.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Badly. Oh wow. Yeah, I like to just shout out Peter Line right now for the okay. In my mind, Peter brought the cork stuff out, but then actually I got to go renege on that because I think he saw maybe Jay Brown do it, and there were some other people independently doing those inverted, kind of off-axis flips. Mm-hmm. But I think snowboarding was the first place it happened because at the time, aerial skiing had been doing flips and twists forever, but you lost points if you went off-axis. So everybody was obsessed with being straight up and down. But then as soon as snowboarding did the thing, you're like, oh, that is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And now skiers do it, obviously. Bikers do it. Skateboarders, I guess the McTwist predates. Yeah, I mean, that's what they were trying to do. A McTwist on a straight jump, right?
It's an off-axis flip that's just got
gorgeous,
some extra style and beauty. Adds a different little...
So did you ever get there? Did you get there?
I was able to get to the full flip, full twist.
Yeah.
But that was as far as I went. Like I said, I'd mentioned Marco Hendrickson, now Dusty Hendrickson, was in the Olympics, but I guess he crashed. But I mean, he should be way, way up there. But yeah, he can do a quad cork. So 4 flips, 4 twists. I mean, and not just robotic. This kid has so much style and like imagination. The way that he rides is just beautiful. And now he wins all his skate contests too. I mean, he's ruling at that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Our generation of pros had to kind of do everything. You mentioned moguls. You had to race. You had to do half pipe, big air, whatever was there. You had to do all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them forcing us. You don't get to ride the half pipe if you don't do the race. It's like, why? Who cares? I don't want to do the fucking race.
Right. I don't want to do the half pipe. I just want to go free ride, pal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so
like we kind of lined that up too. We kind of realized that, you can make whatever function or promotion for companies by, just being able to go out and free ride and click off cliffs and
creatures of habit.
And,
that's what
I
called creatures of habit crusty demons of dirt when I talked to you last time, which is, I mean, it came out of that. But the Creatures movies, that was that was among those first forays into the backcountry where, if you get in those movies, you get full endorsements from sponsors. You're doing your job. Their shit is getting in front of the people that they want to see it.
Yeah. And then you get mag shots out of it too, and it's not just another half pipe.
Yeah.
Shot, it's rad stuff doing.
Shooting guns. Were you part of that? Shooting the guns and doing all the crazy shit that they were doing?
Oh, you mean some of the skit stuff that they did?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they did some funny stuff. In fact, that was another one. So we were making the 00 Szabo.
Yep.
And we had to get some bits and pieces for the main one that we did was late season mammoth out at Spot X, basically snowmobile access area.
Yeah.
But we needed to get some shots. So it's funny that Creatures of Habit, well, there was 2 different 00 Szabos, but the first one, we did most of it there at Spot X, but then we needed a few, like me just looking back, like I'm looking at the helicopter, like shooting around before I, blow it up.
Yeah.
Freeman put stuff together pretty good. He
took
it straight out of a real James Bond. So that little bubble copter got blown up in a regular James Bond movie, but made it look like I was looking at it. So we did some of that in Hood, but then we did some other extra credit stuff when we were in Alaska. So Dana was with I don't know if I'm terrible with gun names, but AK or whatever the thing is. Big badass gun. So he was up in a helicopter, and me and Matty Goodman had to just sit on the side of the highway while they went and shot these, once again, just the shots that I'm supposed to be looking up. And this guy, Chet, the copter pilot that we worked with and went heliboarding with a bunch. So anyway, they were out doing that. So it was Dana and Freeman and Chet, the pilot. And me and Matty Goodman are sitting on the highway in Valdez, and they're out doing their artsy stuff. And like we just figure, and Dana, like I say, he was actually shooting a live gun down in Freeman. So Freeman's shooting, like my view, but Freeman's doing the look up, but I'm sitting on the highway. They piece stuff together pretty cool. How they put movie things together. Like I say, I'm just a dummy that ended up being a dummy in a different skit. But anyway, they were out doing that deal, and he was shooting live ammo, but off to the side from Freeman, so not directly at him, but literally live. And
Jesus.
Me and Goodman are just sitting on the highway and thought they're just like getting way too artsy out there. We didn't even see them now. We go, man, they're just getting all artsy out there. Let's just go back to town and they'll be able to get a ride back, because it's just a one strip hitchhike straight back into Valdez. So we're back in town and just hanging out, and a couple hours later they come stomping in the hotel room going, you guys fucking left us out there. We crashed the helicopter.
What?
Yeah. So Dana was up in the copter, like I say, shooting down at Freeman, and the same copter that we were thousands of feet up in the day before. Like I say, this guy Chet had a little, probably just an 8-cylinder, like a regular motor.
Wow.
Not like a auto-rotating motor in a proper helicopter, but we had this buddy of ours, Chet, that took us up to all kinds of first descent and crazy stuff, thousands of feet. But the motor seized up on Dana, and luckily he was only 50 feet above Freeman, and not directly above, but anyway, but the motor just stopped, and they fell to the snow
50 feet.
Yeah, 50 feet down, and he landed on Chet because I guess it cocked sideways a little bit. So they just slammed in the snow sideways. They were able to walk out, no broken bones or anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy. Is there footage of the crashed copter in some shit? I think there is. Is there not?
I don't even know.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe they were just like,
maybe
they're like,
Freeman
let's get the
should've-
fuck out of here, man.
You would think Freeman would have
yeah.
taken some shots or whatever, but
Yeah.
I wasn't there. Like I say, me and Goodman were pissed at them
Yeah.
because they were taking so long
Yeah,
we thought,
yeah,
doing their little
yeah.
goofy shots.
Meanwhile,
They actually really crashed and
fuck.
have to hike through the snow to get back out to the highway to hitchhike back to town.
That's
get back
amazing.
to where we were, but that was
It was a
classic.
free-for-all, by all accounts, in
yeah.
Alaska. It was a free-for-all.
Oh yeah.
Martin Gallant talking about the chips, having a chip, and this
Yeah.
one got you here, and this one got you there.
$25 chip got you out. They had plane like landings, and then
Right.
I think it was only a $50 or $100 chip or something will get you anywhere you wanted to go. Like I say, we had this one guy, Chet, the pilot,
Yeah.
that we knew from going there a few different years and knew we were filming for the Creatures of Habit stuff. So he would take us wherever we wanted. And we were so stupid. We were like not checking snow conditions and doing all the right stuff.
Oh, wow.
I think we might have had beacons, but I mean, just so unprepared.
Old beacons. Yeah. Like
just way old school.
Yeah,
None
yeah.
of the new stuff that
analog beacons that you wouldn't have been able to find anybody half the time anyway.
We got lucky and
Oh, that's sick.
pulled so
dude.
much stuff off.
Yeah.
Did all kinds of first descent stuff. And see, I remember this one mountain that I picked out because it's as far as you can see.
Yeah.
You're in a copter and like, where do you guys want to go? That looks rad. Like we didn't map stuff out like they do now and
Take
figure it all out.
Polaroids. You'd be looking at one Polaroid.
Well, that is something that I did do, and that's
Yeah.
another funny story. With I was up there with Rankwit, different trip. Rankwit's one of the guys. He's always cocky fucker. And
You're telling me.
yeah, so I'm taking Polaroids as we're flying the helicopter up to where we're gonna go, and Rankwit's all, "What are you doing?" Well, that's and then we get up to the top where you can only see 50 feet in front of you from the roll down at the 65-degree snow or whatever, and then he's all, "Hey, let me see that."
yeah. Life or death,
Right.
dude.
And then you got to switch it around too, because when you're I was taking it as you're going up. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to click that 30-footer over there, but no, don't go off that 200-footer over there, which is on the right. Well, then when you get up top, you got to switch it around.
Yeah.
And remember,
Fuck yeah.
you're doing the
DCP
opposite.
broke his neck from that last year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
He
he didn't take. He was so excited about like doing the line
Yeah.
that he didn't realize when they went past it, he just didn't. He didn't take the time.
Didn't switch it back.
He didn't take the time to do to figure exactly where his point was.
Yeah.
And so he thought one tree was this or this was that, and then he gets over top of it. He's like, "Holy shit, it's icy." And then he realized, wait, maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Then he clips a rock, and then he's upside down, went down.
Wow.
Some gnarly shit. Yeah.
He's okay? 'Cause there's nothing
He
wrong.
is now. I mean, he's moving good. He's not moving like somebody he sat with me for an hour and a half or 2.5 hours, and he didn't have to get up. So, yeah, I think his back and his neck are better. Better enough that he'll be riding like a normal person. Maybe, riding like DCP by the end of the year, I hope. Yeah, totally. Lots of injuries, hey? And lots of friends. Like, I think that Czech guy, he passed away, did he not?
Yeah.
So much of that, right?
Oh, yeah. It was just free-for-all, wide open, and
Yeah.
you go until you don't go anymore.
You keep going. Did the Lamar team go up there like you, Johnson, Jimmy Scott in Alaska? Doesn't make any sense. He can't free ride. He wouldn't have gone.
No, he was real focused, obviously, on pipe stuff, and that was his deal, and
Yeah.
kudos to him. But
Yeah, he ripped at it. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. But so the three of you guys go. Are you filming for a project at that point? Was there a Lamar?
well, a lot of
movie
it, Lamar would just pay, and I was really hooked up with Freeman, you know what I mean? So I was ended up, whether it's Damien and Dana or whoever we're kind of going filming with. So it wasn't really a Lamar project.
Got it.
But they got their play out of it because then I
Totally.
had, shots from up there and video from up there and mag shots, and, they got their promotion. So
Totally.
Bert understood that, from going from our circus needing to do half pipe stuff to going, okay, yeah, I can understand that, we'll go out and get real snowboarding, that what we love to do anyway.
Totally.
Just had to do the circus stuff early.
And Bert, by that point, like most of his snowboarding was at that, those worlds, right? Like he didn't continue as like going out for fun a lot snowboarder guy. He didn't give himself a pro model, and he didn't do ads with himself.
Right.
Like you guys were the team.
Yeah.
And he was the guy collecting the money and making sure you guys get your paychecks and whatnot.
Yeah, and I thought he was an idiot because I go, why would you not go? Because I just wanted to do what I love to do. You know what I mean? So I'm all, he rode for a few years. You know, he did well in the contest thing.
Yeah.
And then turns into a business guy sitting behind a desk. I go,
how could you do
why
that?
would you want to do that?
Yeah.
You can go ride and snowboard anywhere we want to go, and you want to do that. But whatever. He's just real business minded. Yes. You know what I mean? So it's now with his golf thing, he's doing well.
But he golfs. That's the thing. He loves golf.
Yeah.
I think that was his thing, was that his passion was golf. Like, so he loved to golf the whole way through. So he's like, I'll just take this to fucking golf, obviously. Yeah. It's the way to do it. Because Jake Burton, he rode 100 days every year that he could, right?
Yep.
Like, he was a passionate guy. Tom Sims, same deal. Yep. You ever ride with Tom?
A little bit.
Yeah. He had his gaggle of dudes, and like TK and Palmer and all those guys, and man, that would have been a good crew to link up with. Who was your crew? Who did you ride with on the regular?
Damien and Dana and Graham and early days. Victor Coyne was my sidekick buddy, and
sick.
But he went the wrong direction. Like I say, I think action sports have saved me from a lot of friends that I know have gotten into drugs and alcohol and other things. And
when you say Victor went the wrong direction, I know the name.
Oh, okay.
He was in magazines early. Did he have a couple of shots? Yeah, totally.
Back early, Nectar. He was like my sidekick
guy
that was gonna probably get a model, but he ended up, I guess. Probably, I think it was crack or something. He ended up starting that and just didn't follow your action sports passion and adrenaline passion, getting it the wrong way. And so, it took him down the wrong path. And by the time the 90s were around, he was in a bad place and, dealing with whatever, drugs and jail and getting kicked out of houses and all kinds of stuff that's never come my way, because I always just follow the passion of sports that I love.
Yeah, it's really hard to go outside and shred and do the things that you love and do the drugs or even party that hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like in your guys' pro era, like going to a pro contest, it was by all accounts a ginormous party. Like people would, if you wanted to win and really be respected, you had to party as hard as the hardest guy partied and then still win the contest.
Yeah, and like I say, sometimes I went off the rails a little bit, but for the most part, though, I wanted to be able to wake up so I can go do what I loved doing. You know what I mean? That was more worth it.
Yes,
to me.
Dope.
Like I say, every once in a while, Evil Z did come out of the closet.
Evil Z. What's an Evil Z story? Like, where would something happen up in Whistler? Has anything ever happened up here where you wake up in the morning, you're like, shit, Evil Z was out last night?
Right. Well, this is later, but, Damien put on those clubs called Club Rubber.
Club Rubber, yeah.
And, even back at his house, he actually put on the Pimpin' Hose at his house initially.
I remember seeing them,
Yeah, and so, anyway, every once in a while I get a little bit sideways like that. And when he had the Club Rubber at the Galaxy Theater, and I remember being, like, drug out by my neck by bouncers, I don't know, because like I say, I'm gone. I'm just whatever. In fact, I think I was, instead of like everybody, a lot of ecstasy was done, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But whatever mood that I was in with tequila or something, I was like slam dancing. So I was like, everybody else is like floating around, this and that, fucking punking it out, thinking I'm back in the Circle Jerks concert. Nice. And I remember just getting lifted out and fucking dumped out in front.
Well, that's it. That you cut your teeth at these concerts, right? Like punk rock in that's the early to mid 80s.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's so sick.
Seeing all of those bands, small venues way back. And
oh, wow.
I remember when I rode for Life's a Beach, and Sonny Garcia was the surfer, the main surfer. I was the main snowboarder.
Yep.
And then I went surfing with Sonny Garcia, and I used to see the Chili Peppers back at small little gigs. And so we took them surfing. We took Anthony and Flea surfing up at County Line.
God damn.
And, you know, we were all surfing and having fun, teaching them. You know, Sonny was more on the teaching deal, but I was out there just flowing with those guys. And I remember, you know, toweling at the end and, you know, getting ready to just go back. And, well, hey, good luck with your guys' music career. And he's like, yeah, good luck with your snowboard career. I think their music career went a little bit better. Well, they're still badass. And they've changed. Yeah. Like I say, they went from like being kind of punky when I was punky. And then as I got into more flowy type music, you know, so did their music. So
that's true.
They've kind of grown with me, you know.
Yeah, that's so sick. Cool. They got bigger than big, hey?
Oh,
like, unfucking believable.
For sure.
Oh, that's fun, man. Yeah, who else from the punk scene? Like, would it be like No Effects guys and stuff like that? Like Operation Ivy, ever see those guys live?
No, like I say, a lot of the stuff is a little bit faded.
Fuzzy,
I've definitely, like I say, I've woken up in helicopters, I've woken up in hospitals.
Yeah.
You know, moto was the more hard on me sport.
Even with a helmet. Even with a helmet.
Oh, yeah. Even with a helmet, especially when you break few ribs and puncture a lung or snap tib fib. I've done both ACLs. Like I said, taken out multiple shoulder surgeries, broken wrists, fingers. Yeah, my body was another one of my one-liners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These are predetermined, but I can tell you right now, I'm a donor. Jokes. But they're gonna take this body and they're gonna say, "Throw that thing out. That thing's used and wasted and worthless."
How old are your girls now? You got 2 girls, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, they're 16 and 18.
That's the age. That's now they're getting to the point where they're going to be independent. Yep. And how were they growing up? Good kids?
Yeah. And I got them into, you know, like I say, the 5 action sports: surf, skate, snow, moto, and mountain bike.
So sick.
So, but now they're not even into these things.
Same.
You know?
My kid's the same.
Yeah. It's just they did a 180 and now
they choose
it's
their own
cool.
path.
They whatever. I mean, they're doing jiu-jitsu and doing well at school.
Wow.
And, no, jiu-jitsu is good. That's what they've learned. And, you know, then they don't have a easy prey, being an easy prey to somebody. You know, they got a leg up on that because they'll throw you to the ground.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's really good for self-esteem too, right? Like it's just good for everything.
Yeah.
Seems
your health
awesome.
And, your strength.
I put my kid in martial arts. We wanted to, but his first tournament, I don't think I've ever been more upset as a dad. He was in a weight category that was above his own.
Uh-huh.
He was talked into, he'd never done contact before ever. They'd just done non-contact, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 2 kids going like pretending to hit each other. And then at the end, whoever pretended better wins. So like, I know.
Straight contact and in a higher weight group too.
Yeah, and the kid who eventually won it was his first. So this is his first thing ever that he's ever done in public in a tournament. I don't think they'd even done striking practice yet where he was. And the kid comes out and does like a fucking flying kick into the pad. They're wearing the big pads. And kicks him out of the fucking ring, like kicks him off the pads. Like he slid backwards, and I'm like up in the bleachers, like I'm like running down, like what the fuck?
Right.
You can't do that. The kid can't do that. But by the time I'm down on the floor, they're squared up again, and he's squared up against this. I'm like, holy fuck, he's gonna, face this kid that's towering over him that just kicked him out of the thing.
Yeah.
What's going through his head, right? So he's fighting, and he got knocked down again, and then the thing's over, and he comes over, and just that look in his face. I've never been more upset. I'm like, who organized this?
Right.
Where is the fucking sensei? Dude, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Why would that happen? He quit after.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think as a dad, I probably could have pushed him, but at the same time, I think he was right to not trust the school that he was at. Like, he couldn't go back.
Yeah, the sensei didn't make sense.
And I mean, the sensei, Anthony, he's great. He's awesome. For his black belt, he had to fight like 8 other black belts, and he got his ass kicked. But I mean, we're talking about a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, crazy.
Just because you're a black belt doesn't mean you're a great teacher. Because being taught by getting your ass kicked, sure, we tried that. It can work, but most people quit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Most of my friends that I was with quit after like I almost quit after like breaking a leg or whatever, because you don't think you can come back. Get a bit of PTSD, like, oh shit, what if I break my leg again? You know, I'm sure you've got somewhere in there, some PTSD over, you know, losing friends, major injuries, that kind of stuff.
Well, because I mean, I've gone through all these surgeries and just continued to go back to do the sport that I love to do. So I don't have that PTSD on that. Now, on losing people, that's where, yes, I've had some, whatever you call it, PTSD, but, you know, I've actually flipped it around. I've actually had to do some mental training because, you know, like losing my wife and dying with my wife, and, you know, cancer taking her away, and same with my mom and same with my dad way back, and just knowing that life is short and you never know what's going to happen. So the way to look at that positively is you just say, hey, I'm going to live my life, you know, as much as I can now, and not, I mean, you know, I'm looking out for my future, but once again, if, you know, right now I'm up here in Whistler because I got the opportunity to do it, I'm going to go, boom.
Right.
And go and make it happen. And all the time I'm just doing stuff that I love to do, because you never know when it's going to be over. I mean, I don't know if you heard recently, Adam Merriman passed away.
I fly out tomorrow. I'm going to his memorial.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was at my 50th, and he's right in the middle of this shot that I've got. And now that I'm in the middle of my 50s, he's gone. It's crazy.
It's yeah. So I love what you're saying about like taking the lesson and living for almost. It sounds like you're almost saying living for the people that had shorter lives, right? Like,
yeah.
Because I heard a veteran talking about PTSD, and like hallucinogenic therapy assisted, like MDMA actually works really well for traumatized PTSD that's the treatment resistant kind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what the guy said, once he'd done the ecstasy, which is crazy that works, but it does sort of unlock a neuroplasticity that allows you to kind of look at it from maybe a different angle.
Yeah.
And the different angle he had was seeing his friend die in front of him was horrifying. But had the roles been reversed, he certainly wouldn't want his friend to be beating himself up every day thinking about it.
Right.
He'd want his friend to be out there living life.
Yep.
And he found that one treatment with that unlocked that idea and took that loop thinking out of his brain. He was able to get out there. It sounds like you did that with just tenacity and hard work, right?
Yeah. Well, and I luckily came across, I mean, everybody knows the name Tony Robbins, you know, so I just happened when, you know, I'm going downhill with my wife and actually then losing her and whatever, I mean, business, all kinds of stuff. I just thought my life was going downhill, and, you know, my head is not in the right place. And then I came across like that. He's not just a motivational guy. He's very smart and he's an amazing person. Yeah, for sure.
I've heard him on a few podcasts, and he feeds people. He spends his own money feeding people because he grew up without, you know, like food scarcity and shit.
And millions of people.
Probably more than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And he's really actually a super inspirational guy. But I know where you're coming from, because you hear Tony Robbins and you think, maybe he's like a motivational, you know, shyster guy.
Well, I'm just using that because then I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on that, learning how to do some mindset training, how to get myself thinking properly. So then I came across a guy named Michael Burnoff that's actually out in Arizona, and similar deal, like mindset training. And these people, you know, they know their stuff like crazy. I mean, I've got it down now to my basics. And, you know, another guy, Rob Dial, that I've followed as well, little 15-minute YouTube videos. It breaks down stuff. Like, you can get yourself out of a bad headspace pretty quickly. But the basics that I've kind of just ran with after, you know, kind of having this stuff fed into myself intentionally, you know, I'm trying to learn and think, you know, you just have to think about the positives. I mean, yes, I lost my wife, or I lost my business, or a lot of bad things were going downhill, and you can kind of focus on that and go downhill, but some of the things you can't change. So just, you're aware of it. I know these things happen, but can't change it. Okay, it's in the past. And then daily gratitude. I mean, it's well said and known, but it's true. I mean, every day when I wake up and I'm just laying in bed, I'm just saying, I'm so glad I got this roof over my head, got food that I can eat. I'm healthy enough to do stuff I love to do. I can still go out and do them. I got friends, there's definitely some missing things that would be better to have, but you got to just be grateful for what you do have. You know what I mean? So every day, and even during the day, and if I'm out riding and whatever, I'm just going, this is so rad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. When I rolled up,
you're
like, look at this place. You got some beauty around here. It's like, it's so refreshing to meet somebody in person and have them. That's the first thing you say, right? Because how many interactions do we have with people that are like, you're trying to say something nice, oh yeah, whatever, and then they go, oh, the line sure is long here at this coffee shop. Yeah, we could get to know each other for a quick second if you want, but most people are like, oh, you hear what Trump said, or you fucking coronavirus this or whatever, and it's like, well, why are you talking about that? How does that make you feel? Because me hearing you say it is kind of bumming me out, but I'm stoked. I'm on my way up to Whistler to interview a fucking legend of legends snowboarders. I'm a fairly happy person. Hey, look, it's not an act, and I'm not always happy. Absolutely, there's some shit that I would what you touched on it. There's some things that could be better. But if you're not happy for the things you have, you could have those things and not be happy for them too. That's a bad move.
Yeah.
Having things that you want isn't the key to ending wanting a bunch of things.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I say, just be happy with what you got. You can have your goals and things in the future, but be glad with you live in the moment and live for the day. And gratitude's
big.
It's huge.
I don't do it. I don't practice it enough. It's in the background. Of course it's in the background. Mm-hmm. But I want to, that's a good reminder. Bring it into the foreground. Yeah. It's really nice now having phones and computers and all these things that we could just Google this shit, right? Like, so I don't have to rely on you. Like if I'm not into the Tony Robbins thing, I Google gratitude and then I'll get 50 things that are catered to me that is like, oh shit, that guy wrote something on gratitude, or oh, that's a podcast I can listen to tomorrow. Yeah, I love that shit.
Yeah. So no, it just, like I say, I've went from having a heavy heart, where like I would drag myself out to do whatever I'm doing and like just dragging myself through life, to where you keep being grateful and like I say, on the daily, and just right now, and just smile from inside. And you end up smiling from inside your heart. You know what I mean? You just end up being happy because you just keep feeding yourself. Wow, this is so cool. I mean, look at those plants. I mean, this place is rad.
Oh my God, look at where we are.
Yeah, it's insane.
Being invited into Ken Ach house is that was the very first thing that happened with the podcast, where I didn't know it yet, but I left here. Mics are off. Ken says to me at the door, "You know what was best about today? Made a new friend." And I kind of left going, dude, we're not going to be friends. You're Ken Ach. I'm just a fucking guy who worked in a snowboard shop who's a mailman. Now I kind of left, like I had a fairly low self-worth there for a long time, or a really loud negative voice in my head. And I would tell that story to people. I'd be like, can you believe that guy, Ken Ach, said that he was my friend? And people would be like, what the fuck is that story? That's a terrible story. You're friends with the guy, like if he says you are, you are. And then over the years I realized, oh fuck, man, why am I not allowing myself to be friends with these guys that have had he said he met Midnight Oil and he couldn't have been happier. And the saying is, don't meet your heroes. And whoever said that was worshiping the worst heroes, obviously. Meet your heroes. Make sure that the people that you look up to are fucking awesome people. Yeah. Like that should be the saying. Meet your heroes and make sure that they're like, don't worship somebody that's going to be an asshole to you. You know what I mean? Right. Oh, don't meet your heroes. They'll let you down. Yeah. Unless you make your hero somebody like yourself, or even Johnson. When I met Johnson, holy shit, that's a guy. Hey, like,
yeah,
like of course you're gonna see him when. I was thinking about the effort that it is for him to come over here, and I'm like that he does that to see Don Szabo says something pretty big about you. You know what I mean?
And I haven't seen him since half a life ago. Same with Ken. I mean, I was here 2 months ago, and so we actually met up for lunch and actually did a little bit of a mountain bike ride with Brett Tippy down in Squamish.
Fucking love Tipper. Yeah, he's the best.
Oh yeah, he is classic.
Yeah, Tippy. He's got a great podcast too. He probably would have wanted you to be on that one as well. He's so funny.
Yeah,
Brett Tippy. I sometimes ride with him. His local mountain is one of my local mountains.
Oh, rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still sliding around good.
He's fucking ripping.
He's solid.
He's solid. And he's hilarious. His dad jokes, oh my God.
Yeah. Like I say, he's just like, once again, people follow him, and, like, he is that guy.
Yeah.
Like I say, after Squamish, I went and stayed at his house, and then took him, well, actually, he drove, but I drove his truck back. I took him to the Harley-Davidson dealership.
Nice.
And then with the guy there that you knew, because he's like royalty around here too. They're all, okay, what bike do you want for a week? You know what I mean? So,
wow.
It's out of there on I forget what bike, but anyway, Harley of some sort, and so I'm following him, and he's got good status, and they say the Ava Hotel where we were staying, that's like a sponsor of his as well.
So rad.
Like I say, I throw his name around when I get there.
Yeah, man. How would you have known Tippy?
Yeah, now is a weird deal. He actually somehow, I don't remember who followed who, but we were following each other, and I'd throw out a snowboard thing every once in a while.
Yeah.
And he'd say something, and I didn't even know he was an aspiring snowboarder way back.
Remember the roof ride for Craig Kelly? Not in I forget where it is, but it's like a narrow one. And it's in Chill or something, and it's in Board with the World, and they're riding down a really narrow roof with tons of snow on it, but it's long, like it's a bunch of stairs.
Yeah. I think he told me the story.
Tippy told him, meet me there at 9 or whatever, and they didn't show up.
Right.
And so he didn't ride it because he wanted to ride it with Craig.
Right.
It was like, and then then him and Craig had a little physical altercation.
Right. Yeah, he went and poached the pillow line, and then I think they said they saw each other at a bar, and like
at
I
a
forget
party.
if he like actually hit him or something like weird, like it was like an altercation.
It was physical. It was
ugly, and he's like, you poached my line, man. And he's, well, dude, you said you'd be there at 9, and then I waited, and then we finally did it at 1:00. I mean, what's the problem, eh?
Yeah. Unreal, dude.
Yeah, it was classic. But no, back to, like I say, we started following each other, and I, once again, I just live in my own little world and do my own thing. So, I think he was more almost a racer early days, and whatever. So he knew who I was, whatever, doing the freestyle mag stuff, and I just he wasn't on my radar, but we just would throw little messages back and forth.
Sick.
Just through Insta. And then when I wanted an e-bike, I knew he worked for or rode for YT, which is down in San Clemente, not far from where I live in Laguna.
Sick.
So I said, hey, you think you can get me an e-bike somehow? And that was right when COVID kicked in, and there was like no inventory, and that's where the brakes were on for everything.
Yeah.
But he's all, let me see what I can do. So he calls marketing over there, and I go to YT because he lines up, go talk to so-and-so, and, we got a bike lined up for you, and good percentage off as well,
Sick.
So, and there was no way to even get them.
Right.
So I'd go into YT, and these people that work there look at me going, how are you getting this bike? Because it was one of their like demo bikes, like the ones that they show around.
I love it.
It was a top build, the YT decoy.
Sick.
Their pro race is what they call it then. Now they go
Tippy.
core 2, 3, 4s. But anyway, top build, and like these people that work there just going, how the heck did you pull that off? I'm like, I got a little hookup with this guy.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so been like I say, been with YT, whatever. I mean, I just dig their bikes, dig their program, and whatever. They give me a little hookup, but I mean, I just got love for them, and it's really neat place too. I mean, the mill is awesome, and then trails right from there. You can go try bikes. They'll let you ride a bike. Demo out. I just took a friend recently, rode decoy first time. Never rode an e-bike, and makes you want one. It's like crack kind of, you know. I mean, like even when I'm riding with them with my acoustic friends on their regular mountain bikes, and I'll just be pushing them by their back, you know. This is so cool. So yep, I'm gonna have to get one of those things.
Oh, so sick.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, no way. So you live in Laguna now. What are the sports in Laguna? Like, I guess you can probably not a lot of mountain biking. Is there mountain biking?
Oh man,
tons of mountain biking.
It's a very good. I mean, it's like some of the steeps that you got here. You can get as
the Laguna Hills. Is that? Yeah, yeah. Well, where Tippy grew up, his mountain biking stuff was Kamloops. I think it's Kamloops. Yeah, Kamloops. Yeah. And it's when you go through there, it's all these bluffs that are like just straight down.
Yeah.
Holy
he did the
shit.
gnarliest stuff on just worthless equipment.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, he was a pioneer in freestyle mountain biking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, big downhill stuff.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, if you're a mountain biker and you're listening to me, I'll shut up about it now because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, me either. I just ride the things.
Yeah,
it's so fun.
So sick. So, where do you work? What are you doing now? Because the printing business, you had to close it down.
Well, I had to take care of Heather until she passed away. So, I mean, the last 6 months were bedside to help her out. You know. So.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that was tough. Like I say, that whole cancer
and you're being full-time dad at that time too, right? So you're taking care of 2 girls.
Yep.
Taking care of your wife full-time.
Yep.
Holy Christ.
Yeah. So like I say, wife died, business died.
Yeah.
Kind of in a fog at the time, going, what the heck?
Yeah.
But, in to answer your question now, and it's my one-liner, is I'm either retired or retarded. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I don't think you can say that now. Yeah, so you're just...
Oh, I can't... Oh, whatever. Yeah,
I understand.
Can't use that word.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I got
you.
There's
all you liberal people,
it's
a word people use for the heck of it, okay? So don't take it personal.
I mean, the demographic that I interview, we're gonna hear a lot of those words. It happens. So you're retired. Like, were you able to get like Social Security and all that kind of shit?
Well, and strange how things all went because, like I said, I took care of my wife until she passed away.
Yep.
And then for a few years, I actually was just single dad. Mm-hmm. But my daughters had best friends that lived across the street because when I was running my whole print business thing and bought the $1 million+ house and, living that whole dream, which is a nightmare with the payments. But
oh, God, yeah.
Anyway, and I even 1031 exchanged some other properties that I had into that, even though you're not supposed to, and maybe I'm not supposed to say this because now the IRS is going to come after me. Anyway.
I don't even know what that means, but you did some
stuff
financial transactions.
Quite a bit of equity into my primary.
Okay. Got it.
And when I ended up selling it, when my mom ended up now having a stroke 3 years after my wife passed away. So then, and like I say, my kids pretty instantly became, family-ish with that neighbor family. That, our daughters are the same age as their daughters. So like I say, mine are 16 and 18, and so are theirs.
Yeah.
And they would always come over and barbecue, swim at my house, and I'd teach them how to skate around the neighborhood and bicycle and take them out hiking, and they have their family structure over there. But anyway, they loved being there, and that mom actually kind of became their mother figure when Heather was gone.
Okay.
And that was always their kind of go-to place that they wanted to go.
Yep.
And if things happened, that's where they would go. So when my mom had her stroke, I had to basically kind of take care of my mom. She wasn't able to be mobile, and so feeding her, and the kids just ended up, staying at that house and were happy and whatnot. And the weirdest thing is how it worked out that they said, you know what, we'll take care of your daughters as our own. And I mean, I pay them their child support type thing, but bottom line, I ended up selling my house and moving in with my mom to take care of her until she passed away. Because
that's serendipitous. That's nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, so now...
Sorry, you were going to say she also...
she also passed away from cancer. It was
oh, wow. So she had a stroke and then...
Well, and they diagnosed her with pancreatic cancer.
Oh, fuck.
So that's the sentence, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that was the deal. I knew I was going to have to just take care of her until she wasn't able to. So, my last jobs have now been caregiver.
Yes,
so.
Hospice essentially.
Yeah.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah, I took care of her, and then I just took care of her for over 2 years until she passed away, and
so now you're retired. That's a big. I mean, you've had. When your wife passed away 3 years ago? 4?
Oh no, time flies. It's been 7 years since.
7.
Yeah, basically
Holy
since I've been
shit.
mountain biking has become my new love. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just
so
make do with what I got.
That's a long amount of, to keep smiling through it. Or I always I don't know what to say through this shit. I've gone through no loss.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Well, no, like I say, I hadn't before either. And
Yeah.
so once again, I told you I just came across the Tony Robbins thing, which took me down that rabbit hole of learning about other people. And then I ended up going to that Michael Burnoff's gig in Arizona. And there's 400 people, and I end up, you work with people, you get whoever was sitting next to you, that's like your partner to work back and forth with, and full work stuff to really train your brain how to think properly.
Yep.
And next thing you know, not next thing you know, but it's a 3-day event deal, and I think day 2 I ended up on stage because it was only a few weeks after Heather passed away. I had already booked this thing, and like I say, we were able to, between my sister or the neighbor family, I was taking care of her a lot, but I was able to still get away if I needed to.
Yep.
But didn't know she was going to have her seizure, basically, is how that ended up happening, and called 911. And then it was right at Easter of 2015, and right before it. So, called 911, they take her to the hospital, and then when we get there, her eyes are open, but she's gone, and so doctors saying, because once you have stage 4 cancer, we've been putting out fires in her body for quite a while, having to zap stuff in her brain. And anyway, at this point, her liver, 10%, the doctor's saying liver is about 10% functional, kidneys, 10% functional. We're keeping her alive, by the stuff, you know what I mean? So
almost feels cruel at that time, doesn't it? Yeah.
But it was nice enough that everybody was able to come say their goodbyes at least. And like I say, she wasn't there. Her eyes were open, but at least, family and friends and all said, goodbye. And then, like I say, right before Easter, the next day, basically, it was they pull the plug, and, she's gone by the morning.
And 2 weeks later, you're on stage talking about it in front of 400 people?
Correct. Yeah. And
that would have been pretty cathartic and pretty heavy, I imagine.
Yeah, but this thing, I mean, not that it's a rah-rah thing, but, they do get you pumped up to have your mindset. It's called core strength, is what, to get your strength is what this event was for. And so, and there's still been follow-up and emails, and, you can do vocal conferencing with the guy. Give him big props. But once again, I've kind of fell off of it because I've kind of just got my own flow of what works for me. And I told you it's some of the basics, and just, gratitude, and just daily just being grateful for everything around me.
I think that's so important. Yeah. Thank you for telling that stuff, because that's, we're getting to the age where we've all had something, anytime I talk with someone, Tucker Franzen documented his, Todd Franzen. There's 2 that are close.
I think about Tucker.
Yeah, Todd Franzen had some serious cancer shit go down, and he documented it all. And he's got a YouTube channel where he basically gives people like, okay, so you got this diagnosis. Let me tell you what this bullshit means. Let me tell you this in plain English.
Yeah.
And he walks people through, what to expect, basically, which is super sick. So I'm glad when he shared that on the show, people reached out and said, I needed that stuff. And I'm sure people will do the same with this. Like, it's a big deal to get yourself back when you've had something major happen.
Yeah. So like I say, I had a pretty damn blessed life. So when a lot of the stuff hit me initially, I didn't know how to think about things properly. And like I say, you can start thinking down the wrong rabbit hole, or like I say, you got to learn to, once again, back to the basics, just grateful what you do have.
Yeah.
be grateful for the day. We're grateful for everything around you.
Well, I'm grateful for having this interview with you today, man.
Yeah, it's
like,
cool, man.
when I saw you were coming up, I was like, hey, there's a chance, right? It could happen.
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on the show again. What I remember our conversation being, it was.
And this time we were on film.
Yeah. Now we got film.
What's
And you're one of those dynamic people that has a really special place in snowboarding. And I can't let you be an hour and a half from my house and not like reach out and be like, come on, let's try and make it happen.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that you did this. Thank you very, very much.
No worries, man. Yeah, it's been a great life, man.
Yeah,
Still
man.
is.
Sick. Well, let's shred. What's your home mountain now? Do you
For
still
sliding?
Yeah. Do you do it?
Barely.
Barely.
Unfortunately, my leg suspension doesn't work.
Yes.
Right. My moto kind of blew out my leg suspension.
Right.
I had both ACLs replaced, and my heel doesn't hit my ass, so I can't clap out. I'm still a little bit rickety. I should probably get another shoulder surgery because free arm sports are a little bit, clappy.
Getting spanked would fuck you up.
Yeah. But like I say, the bikes always have good suspension, and
yeah.
holding onto the bars keeps my shoulders tight.
That's
versus
it.
Out here where it ends up in the armpit. I've had it dozens of times in my armpit.
It sucks.
And it's helped people though. I've been in Japan and some guy blew his shoulder out, so I was able to put him back together.
Yeah.
And another time in Alaska too, like guy thought he was going to go make a nice pow turn like next to a cliff, but that was a sun hit spot.
Oh,
so
shit.
He, all of a sudden he chattered and he chatters off this 30-foot cliff he wasn't even planning on going off of. Ends up dislocating his shoulder. He's so lucky that I was there because I was able to get it back in socket. Because if not, we're still, who knows how far from the LZ to even get, and then got to drive to Valdez to get to the hospital.
And then by that time, it's just so stretched out and fucked. Putting it back in, it's not going to stay. The dislocated shoulder thing is nasty.
Well, and then plus when it starts, your muscles start spasming. So when it's down in the wrong spot and then it starts sucking it up into it.
Yeah.
I've had to go to hospitals for them to knock me out to be able to
pull it and put it in the right place.
Get it back in the spot. What I mean? That was early days, but then I learned how to do it. So then I'd be dislocated and I'd be telling these people, all right, hey. In fact, I had to do that recently. It was on this, one of my posts for mountain biking. I actually did do it riding mountain bikes because I'm still stupidly, I look at mountain biking as so much smaller than moto. Like I say, I've jumped 180 feet.
That's insane.
On moto. So
first of all.
Yeah. So like.
But 65 feet jumping on a bike that's not small. The consequences of double ejecting off of that, hitting a knuckle or something is.
Oh no, for sure. In fact, the day after I did that, when I went and rode Squamish with Tippy that evening, and then I stayed with him. Well, some of my crew, because I came up here with 12 guys. Yeah. And one of these guys. Well, one of them broke themselves the first day here. And then this guy, Albert, the last day I didn't ride, he went for it, and he got the wrong, bucked trajectory. And
even
there's
worse.
No panic revving like moto. You at least get your 10% from the inertia of the motor. But anyway, bottom line, he ended up, I wasn't there, but went to head, hit his head, broke his neck in 4 places.
Oh, fuck.
And
that's real.
Yeah. Luckily no paralysis or anything, but he is actually putting mountain biking to the side because he's got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And the only provider. And it's too bad. He was a good rider, but he's, being diligent about.
Smart. Yeah,
I'm not too smart. Like I say, raising my kids, I end up having close to 10 surgeries the whole time.
Unreal.
From moto.
Yeah, moto sounds dangerous.
Yeah.
Everybody with moto's got big scars on their shoulders. Shoulders is a big one, and legs. Fuck. Oh dude. You break everything.
Yeah. Tib fib twice, and both of my ACLs. Even though wearing the knee braces, they're not supposed to make those happen. But
no.
Yeah.
Broke in a brace. Ugh. My God, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, but just for the, there's
all
no
of this,
rush. Better than it, kind of.
Yes,
to be able to go as fast as you want right next to your buddy, and whoever can push it more, racing and banging bars, and jumping as far as you want, and jumping up hills, farther than I even jumped up
down
my damn mountain bike. I mean,
yeah, of course.
It's a rush because I don't know. I'm just an adrenaline junkie. I admit it.
So you're going to be up here probably fairly frequently now that you're retired, I guess, eh? Every few.
Yeah, now that I've come here, like I said, I was here 2 months ago with that crew, and then that's when I reconnected with Ach and Schwarty and
sick.
A couple guys down here in Martown. I'm sorry, not him,
Pascal.
but his brother,
Yeah.
Pascal.
Yeah.
In fact, I just followed him. It's so funny. Some people are so like technical. These guys that I was with, they watched the videos. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into coming up here. I said, Whistler, sure, I'll go. And then I'm off just doing my riding, and I'm always busy. I mean, I don't work like a regular job, but there's no damn time. I still got files from 5 different trips that I haven't even got around to looking at. And there's just always stuff to do. So anyway, these guys all, looking at it, they know what they're getting themselves into. I didn't even look. I just, ended up, I jumped on the trip, and then I meet up with Pascal, and just like moto, you can follow somebody.
Oh yeah, what's the speed on this?
Exactly.
Yeah, follow me. Yeah.
He just pulled me into A-line. I did every single jump first run with not even knowing what I was going into. But, it just works,
Yes.
You just use somebody else's speed. So
totally.
I didn't think I posted that stuff, just like
I've always
first
loved that
run,
stuff.
boom.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, 20 jumps or whatever it is, I still don't know any technical things. And they said, let's go over and check Dirt Merchant. So then I go do that right behind him as well. And I didn't know I was going off like I don't know if it's a 12 or 15-foot bridge, and, you got to click out another 15.
You're just following him.
Yeah, just following. Boom. Oh, I'm hitting that. And anyway, clicked all that stuff, and it was neat.
I'm living vicariously through you, hearing you talk about it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of my things personally that I never quit. When my kids were born, I had to go a lot less. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There was a slowdown. I thought I was going to be quitting because I thought you had to. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. But the best thing for me, one of my favorite things, is like seeing somebody who's passionate about it, that's taking it to the edge, right? Like you go ride Homewood with Dave Hatchett, and here's a guy who it's not a part of his day-to-day anymore, but he knows how to have fun on his board. And part of having fun is showing someone around, like what you were just talking about with Pascal.
Yeah.
Like, and hearing that voice from my childhood, Dave Hatchett telling you, okay, we're going to go around this corner. It's going to get a little bit steep. Don't worry. You want to hold a medium amount of your speed and you want to clear. There's a small flap, but follow my lead. And and then there's going to be perfect turns. Nobody's ever been in here. They don't come in here on a POW day because it's hard, because nobody wants to do the mandatory 20 or whatever. And it's like, holy shit, this is the best day of my life. Right. I'm riding fucking powder with, Dave Hatchett. I've been looking up to since I was a kid. Yeah. So to hear you still doing it, like, that's my favorite thing. Actually, my favorite thing is someone who's really good at it that hasn't done it in a while, and then you invite them out and they go, and they're just fucking like a little kid again.
Yeah.
And they rip. They're way better than me, and you know what I mean? And I go every day. I don't know why I've never get any better. They just constantly continue to get worse.
Just constantly continue to have fun. Though,
yeah, man. But I have more fun than anybody. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah. So, Don Szabo, thanks for doing this.
Yeah,
we did an hour and a half. Give you a fist
hour and
bump.
a half.
Yeah,
damn.
Just like that, dude. All right.
That went quick.
Next time you're here, maybe I've never mountain biked on a trail or anything.
Oh, really?
I'll take you out for dinner or do something. Actually, are you hungry now? Let's go do dinner.
For sure.
All right, let's do it.
Don't ever offer a Hungarian food, buddy. I'll take you up on it all day long.
Hell yeah. FNRad shout-outs this week to the man, the myth, the legend, Don frickin' Szabo. Thanks to Ken Ach for the use of his home for this interview up in Whistler. And 1,000 thank yous to each and every one of you who listens right to the end. You rock. Thank you for your support. Be sure to come back next week for another episode of FNRad Snowboarding, presented by Vans and brought to you by SIA Productions.